Imagine this. You could live another 100 years. Not 20, not 50, but a whole century. How old are you right now? 30, 40, 60. Now imagine waking up 100 years from today, still breathing, still moving, but with a critical question hanging over you. Am I prepared for this? Let me tell you a story about a man who wasn't, and how it nearly destroyed him. There was a man named Martin. At 40, he had everything he thought he needed. A steady job, a cozy home, and his favorite snacks waiting for him every evening. Martin wasn't reckless, he wasn't lazy, but he also wasn't thinking about the long game. One day, Martin stumbled across an article that posed a wild question. What if medical advances in the next 10 years make it possible for you to live to 140, maybe even 150? Martin laughed it off. Who'd want that? He muttered to himself. But deep down, he felt a twinge of fear. What if it wasn't a choice? What if science kept him alive, but his body, his mind weren't ready for the extra time? Let's pause here. This isn't science fiction anymore. The way things are heading, gene therapy, AI in medicine, organ regeneration, we might just crack the code to extend life far beyond what we imagine today. But here's the twist. Extending life doesn't mean extending quality of life. Martin didn't prepare, and by the time he hit 90, the advancements he'd once mocked became reality. His joints, weak, his lungs, struggling, his mind, clouded by decades of neglect. He lived into his 100s and 30s, but every day felt like survival, not living. But here's the kicker. There was another man in Martin's life, his childhood friend, James. James took that same article seriously. At 40, James started making changes, not massive overnight shifts, but small, consistent habits. He walked every day, ate clean, invested in his mental health, and built a life of curiosity and learning. By the time they were both 130, James wasn't just alive, he was thriving. So here's my question for you. If you knew you could live another 100 years starting today, how would you prepare? Would you shrug it off like Martin, assuming the future will take care of itself? Or would you take action like James and build a foundation for those extra decades? Here's the truth no one likes to talk about. Longevity without preparation is a curse, not a blessing. Imagine being 100, 120, even 150, trapped in a body that can't keep up, or a mind weighed down by regret. That's the future we're heading toward if we don't make changes now. But here's the good news. You have time. The habits you build today can shape the life you live tomorrow and the next 100 years. Start small, walk more, eat better, learn something new, and most importantly, imagine the person you want to be at 100, 120, 150. What does that version of you need from you today? Here's the part that gets me. Both Martin and James had the same opportunities, the same amount of time, the same choices in front of them. The difference? One ignored the long game while the other embraced it. You might think, I've got time to figure it out. But here's the twist. You don't know when your life will change, when that breakthrough technology will extend your years. The decisions you make now will determine whether those years are filled with vitality or regret. So I'll ask you again, if you could live another 100 years, what would you do differently starting right now? Your future isn't written yet. The pen is in your hand. What story are you going to tell with the next 100 years?